Hi everyone, this is my first video in English speaking. I ask you for patience because I'm a little bit rusty, but I think anyone can understand what I want to say. First of all, I wanna make a huge statement about my opinions. It's just for myself. I don't express any kind of institutional opinion. And the main main theme of this video is about Bolsonaro politics for COVID-19 crisis. So I want to discuss about the huge program of aid that are strong correlated with this disease and prove that they are death rate and something like that, and especially about the economic program. So I want to discuss about the size of this program, if it's too big, too small, the possible impact, and their consequences about the Bolsonaro popularity. So back down there in Brazil, we are measuring this popularity about Bolsonaro, and Brazil is the first country in South Hemisphere and contagious deaths and this rate growth. Nowadays, these taxes are very stable, but stable with a very high new cases and new deaths by day. So follow me in my social media and my YouTube channel for another comments about politics, economics, and some studies that I'm a teacher, like quantitative methods, econometrics, and etc. Very nice to meet you guys. Please be polite. It's just my first time talking English, and it will be a pleasure growth my audience with a more widespread language outside Portuguese. Thank you guys. So let's start from beginning. Brazil had maybe 1 or 2 months ahead of any country on North Hemisphere in news and the consequences of COVID-19. And instead of this huge advantage, his performance is very average or low average when you compare the size of population, the big of this crisis, and the impact on health care and health program, especially when you talk about the poorness people that right now is the huge piece of this share of new contagions. So we had a very low performance, and we are maybe a strong follower of United States health program and health politics. We are in the first phase of the COVID-19. We still deny the same path that Donald Trump right, but when Donald Trump realized that he had maybe 5 months ahead an election, he changed his position, his opinion, and start to fight and open the discuss about the scientific evidence and the best way to contain the advance of this new disease. Back down here in Brazil, we are still in 16 August 16, and we're still in the denial phase. So our president is still denying that COVID-19 is a very big problem. He's still saying it's not big deal, it's just a little flu, and we can perform much more better if states and municipalities isn't close or shut down their economy and their stores and schools and something like that. Very crazy statement, Maybe he following just Sweden, maybe, but we had the 2 or 3 months ahead that Sweden performed very bad when you compare Denmark and others frontier countries of Sweden, and the economy performed much more worse, and so we don't have any advantage even economy if you ignore the disease. And this is what about when we talk about Brazil. But when you open the how to management this crisis, Bolsonaro put maybe something like 700 billion reais, just like maybe 150 billion dollars. It's a very short amount of money when you compare USA aid program, but for Brazil it's very huge. It's something like we discussed for 2 or 3 years about our retirement payment system or our pension system, and we had the economy when you compare in 10 years window about this number. So Brazil spent just in 4 months what we had discussed and we have achieved in 10 years ahead with 2 or 3 years of strong argument in our congressmen and executive leaders. So we may be in the new phase of fiscal program, and the strong pillar of this fiscal program is 600 reais per month of help. Very short when you compare to the $900 weekend for the American program aid, but back there in Brazil is a very huge program, especially when you talk about the poorness corner of the Brazil. I talk about the northeast, the north area. There is a very huge crowd of poorness, and with just 600 reais, even perform with like the worst country in South Hemisphere. The popularity of Bolsonaro still rising, and now maybe if he maintain this pace, he be in re-election in just the first term. When Brazil you talk like this, we'll have a major president election that we can perform with 10, 12, 15 candidates, and if just one had the majority vote of 50% plus one, he goes to he win the election, or she will win the election in the first term. So Bolsonaro maybe perform like no president before, because he lost very early and very short his popularity, and now his popularity is rising with a very fast pace. So this is a very strong phenomena, and we economists and social scientists have to study this phenomena, because it's not so expensive to buy popularity, just 100 reais per month. But for Brazil, this amount of money is unsustainably fiscal. Sorry for my English spelling, but unsustainable fiscal is just like you don't have money to maintain this kind of aid. And for us, we pass in short run for a very big fiscal crisis, and Bolsonaro was election and win this election argument that he will fight this fiscal problem, but nowadays he flirt very strong with more more uh, flexible or easing fiscal policy and expand the government spending. And today, or in this year, we pass by the most biggest fiscal debt of the entire federation history of Brazil. And this size of this debt came from a president that won the election with an argument that he will fight against fiscal easing or fiscal expanding or fiscal debt. And this is very controversial, but still popularity. Maybe if you guys know the literature about uh, policy economy, there is a very good book of Persson and Tabellini. Persson is a London School professor. Tabellini is from MIT, and they both guys discuss about the fiscal policy and the political cycle, and how these two subjects are very linked, very strongly linked. So this is the news. I want to thank you for the audience. Ask you guys to subscribe and send to me any kind of doubts you had about Brazil, about our economy, so I can think about a new videos and new themes for my channel. Thanks once again. Sorry for my accent, but back down in Brazil, my accent made a very huge success, especially if, with the young ladies. I'm just kidding. Thank you once again. Bye.